Good evening, everyone. I declare the meeting opened at 6:30 p.m. Please stand for the opening prayer. Tonight it will be read by Sheikh Mohammed Al-Zubi from the Auburn Islamic Community Centre.
And thank you very much.
Tonight I have no mayoral minutes, so we move straight into public forum, and we have two requests to address council tonight. Thank you for coming. Firstly, I have Mr. Ng, Sydney Metro West Environmental Impact Statement submission.
Thank you.
And the second person I have listed to speak here is Mr. Alok Gohil, who's to speak on the planning proposal for Lidcombe. Is that gentleman present? He's not here tonight, so we'll move on. Yes, in accordance with Clause 8.2, we'll alter the order of business to bring forward the item 2256 on the Metro West Environmental Impact Statement.
My personal concern, aside from obviously traffic issue and as far as where we've talked about car parking and so forth, upon looking at the maps on page 42 and the way that it is identified, it's quite a big gap between Sydney Olympic Park and Parramatta. So the people from around that area, particularly the Silverwater sort of area, they miss out enormously, and at the moment would still be travelling to Lidcombe, would still be travelling to Auburn, and to use that commute, and also our traffic as well. I don't know, whilst that is, I'm aware that it is in the Parramatta City Council area, but whether we've had any communication with them at all in that respect, because it will have an impact either to them and or moreover to us, which is my concern personally. So I would be putting forward an amendment for an inclusion of a stop within that Silverwater area, and if necessary, a conversation with Parramatta Council to get their fulfilment in that respect as well. Thank you.
The current proposal does not provide commuter car parking at Westmead. In summary, Madam Mayor, we need the commuter car park in close proximity to this new metro station. A review of the bus services to ensure our residents can access the metro, and an additional southern station entrance, possibly on Osprey Road, so our residents will have safe and equitable access.
Madam Mayor, this is a substantial capital investment for Westmead. My main issue is with Councillor Saha is, I think, accessibility to the actual site.
It'll be really advantageous if there's an entrance to the station box on Cumberland Council side.
Well, we're happy to accept that amendment, but also ask that we at least include that we write for them to consider Silverwater. There's no reason why the people of Barella, Regents Park, Lidcombe and Silverwater, should not be given a go to at least have a consideration that Silverwater be included. At the very least, they'll say no, but we've asked and we're endorsing everything else.
Councillor CHRISTOU, if you're not happy to accept the amendment to exclude a reference to the stop in the Silverwater area, then you're not accepting the amendment.
That's not up to you. We've asked.
It is up to me, Councillor CHRISTOU.
You always seem to be debating now. I understand you're the strongest debater, but you also need to accept that you are now in the chair. And if you wish to debate, I'm happy for you to put Councillor Huang in the chair, because I've been sitting here like patience on a monument, waiting for Councillor Huang to have his chance in the chair, and we're happy for him to control debate. Okay, but we ask that it be accepted, and we'll leave it to Councillor Saha and Councillor Zeta if they wish to accept that.
No, please. I'm ruling on. I'm just ruling on Councillor CHRISTOU's submission that the amendment he accepts has a qualification in it, and that can't be done that way.
Mayor Lake, you're guiding your team. That's not what you're in the chair for.
I'm happy. If you are happy to accept the amendment as written by Saha Zeta, then the motion will be amended to in accordance with the words in the Saha Zeta amendment, and we'll move on. If you have any qualifications to that, we cannot incorporate those into the original motion.
Well, me and my colleague Councillor Hughes are not happy to accept that, and we're happy to inform the public out in Silverwater, Regents Park and Barella that those opposite us are refusing to include Silverwater as a possibility. Thank you.
I would like to speak in support of the amendment and against the original motion with the additional point of including a stop in Silverwater. Most of the Silverwater is actually industrial.
If there being no further speakers to the amendment, I'll put the Saha Zeta amendment. All those in favour of the amendment, please raise your hands. I have Councillor Zeta, Councillor Faruqi, Councillor Elmore, Councillor Hamid, Councillor Coleman, Councillor Saha, Councillor Huang, Councillor Lake and Councillor RAHME. And all those against the Saha Zeta amendment, I have Councillor Cummings, Councillor SARKIS, Councillor Hughes and Councillor CHRISTOU, and Councillor Hussain. The amendment is carried. I then put the motion as amended. Firstly, I ask Councillor Hughes her right of reply.
Like it or not, the current public bus transport in that area of Silverwater is a nightmare. Lidcombe will still get, as will Alban, plenty of people coming across because there is not that much available parking at Sydney Olympic Park for a price that is affordable. It is expensive there. So quite frankly, I can't see that it's going to help those people whatsoever, and it really is not helping, more the point, the area of Regents Park Ward, because they are going to be affected.
The motion as amended, we will now put. All those in favour of the motion, please raise your hands. Councillor Zeta, Councillor RAHME, Councillor SARKIS, Councillor Cummings, Councillor Faruqi, Councillor Elmore, Councillor Hussain, Councillor Hamid, Councillor Coleman, Councillor Saha, Councillor Huang and Councillor Lake. All those against the motion, please raise your hands. Councillor CHRISTOU, Councillor Hughes, and the motion is carried. We'll now go to our schedule of matters to see if we can resolve items by exception. Go now to 2257, the planning proposal for Betty Cuthbert Drive.
I am very aware of the educational issues in the area and the need for that additional schooling, particularly Browler is well and truly over the top of what their figures should be. However, as Councillor Faruqi has raised, we do have massive traffic issues and, more the point, parking issues around there that will relate to this in a big way. I know that the report goes on about bus stops. Primary school children rarely get a bus to school, so the reality is that driving, parking is the most major problem. Not only will the traffic be intense, and aside from the additional residential areas identified, but the roads in Botanica are already narrow. It's going to create more chaos if there is a thoroughfare put through there. And then, of course, with the proposed overpass into Colman Park, where that will come down is to a Layla Street, it is a cul-de-sac. You are going to have traffic issues there, and then the running into and the out of Notting Hill Road. There is a very big play area there. There is also a dog park there. So people use it. They park there all the time anyway. So to have more traffic there and cars coming in and out is just going to be problematic.
The amendment has no end.
Thank you, Councillor Lake. It never ceases to amaze me that after 16 years in council, one can just not get it.
Yes, I'll uphold the point of order. A comment that somebody doesn't get it is probably an insult. Councillor CHRISTOU, we'll move on now.
Wow. Yeah, all right, we'll move on. Councillor Hughes isn't asking for anything out of extraordinary or anything too drastic. She has received a lot of concerns and complaints from residents of her ward. There's parking issues, logistics, traffic issues as well. These are legitimate complaints, and we shouldn't be playing politics with this. We should be binding together as a council and as ward councillors and doing the right decision for the interests of our local community. So I would hope that council just agree to defer the report for further consideration, and we'll come back with a more comprehensive report how to best serve our residents.
So I think any delay, any further delay to this will just disappoint the local residents in Botanica.
Delaying it, there is no end to this ongoing consultation. So we don't want to delay it. We want to serve the people better. So we want to start it as soon as possible so our residents can get the benefit and we can serve them.
Is there any further discussion on the amendment? If not, I'll put the amendment. All those in favour of Councillor Hughes, Councillor CHRISTOU's amendment, please raise their hands. Councillor Hughes. All those against the Councillor Hughes, Councillor CHRISTOU amendment. In favour of the amendment is also Councillor SARKIS. I'll put it again. All those in favour of Councillor Hughes, Councillor CHRISTOU amendment, please raise your hands. Councillor CHRISTOU, Councillor Zeta, Councillor RAHME and Councillor SARKIS. Sorry, Councillor Hughes, Zeta, RAHME and SARKIS. All those against the Councillor Hughes CHRISTOU amendment, please raise their hands. Councillor Cummings, Councillor Faruqi, Elmore, Hussain, Hamad, Coleman, Saha, Huang and Lake. The amendment is lost. All those in favour of the Elmore Hussain motion, please raise your hands. Councillor Zeta, Councillor Cummings, Councillor Faruqi, Elmore Hussain, Hamad, Coleman, Saha, Huang and Lake. All those against, please raise your hands. Councillor Hughes, Councillor RAHME and Councillor SARKIS. The motion is carried. We now go to Traffic Committee, 2259.
The recommendation, Madam Mayor, for this particular item is that the Traffic Committee recommends that the installation of no stopping signs and BB line marking at the intersection of Dahlia Street and Hibiscus Street in Greystanes be approved in accordance with the plan. The plan is on page 849, which is what I was looking at. Madam Mayor, I speak, I guess, in favour of the fact that we do need parking restrictions there, or some, I guess, traffic controls, right? But if we proceed with what is planned, what is proposed in this plan, what you're doing there is saying to the shops that are there is, hey, this is how we're going to close you down, because now nobody can stop to actually do any shopping at your shop. We've put no stopping all around you.
What Traffic Committee has also resolved in the last Traffic Committee meeting, in principle, that in the next Traffic Committee meeting, the council officers will investigate how we can accommodate more parking in the area. So we understand it, that the more parking is required in the area, and the report will be brought back in the next Traffic Committee meeting. And the main purpose of putting the no stopping sign at that corner was purely safety concern being raised. It is a three-way traffic and very confusing.
Thank you. Councillor Saha, your point of order that the amendment is unlawful because we're not at liberty to amend matters that are just before us for approval. Is that what you're suggesting?
That's true. Yep, because it's a Part 1 item which is delegated to the council, delegate to the General Manager, to the Traffic Committee and the Traffic Engineer.
Because recommendation 1 is that we just receive and note the decisions, Councillor Sarkis. I'm going to have to uphold the point of order.
But having no parking there means that these shops are not going to have patrons. And a shop that doesn't have business coming in and going out means they're going to close. They're going to go belly up.
Councillor Sarkis, I have a great deal of sympathy with what you're putting to me. The issue for me at the moment is that I'm constrained by a process that's been put before me tonight that says that the matter is only here before us for receiving and noting. I'm going to ask the General Manager whether there is any discretion.
Through you, Mayor, councillors, Councillor Sarkis, there is the terms of reference for the Traffic Committee instill a delegation upon me for these matters to be automatically approved and implemented. That was a discussion where Council adopted those terms of reference. On that basis, my advice to Council through the Mayor would be is that there would be no discretion here from me today. The opportunity would be is that if a subsequent request be put to the Traffic Committee to look at alternatives for that area and let the Traffic Committee make a decision and bring that to Council separately.
I've been waiting for my chance to speak, mate. Had I spoken at the beginning?
So at this point, although I do have a great deal of sympathy with what you're saying, Councillor Sarkis, I'm going to have to rule your amendment out of order. I now have Councillor Coleman who wishes to speak.
Thank you. Had I been able to speak in order, then perhaps this entire conversation wouldn't have happened. I'm actually the representative of the State Member for Prospect Hugh McDermott on this committee, and I raised this exact issue when this matter came before the committee. This is a very busy intersection here. There is a very popular cafe on the corner there, and there is always parking is always at a premium. It's always very difficult to find a spot. But this matter came before the Traffic Committee because it was a serious safety issue. It goes around a corner and a number of cars park on the corner, and then there's cars parked on the other side of the street, and residents were concerned about having to cross over to the other side in order to come around the corner. It's very, very problematic. And so I raised exactly the issue that everybody's raising here and said that parking needs to be considered. There's parking bays up the end there, of corner of Dahlia and Alpha Road. There's already indented parking there. Perhaps they could increase those, but the recommendation was considering indented parking around, not on the corner because that's a problem, but closer to the corner so that people could just park and walk across the road to the cafe. And that's what actually was discussed and decided, that it would be sent back for investigation in relation to that, so that the safety issue needed to be addressed and the signs would be put up, but that parking would be investigated, indented parking, because it's essential in this area. And so that's actually what was decided at the meeting, and I've raised this with the chairperson. Why isn't the minutes reflecting that? And if had they done so, then perhaps we wouldn't have had to have this conversation. So that's all I'd like to say.
Thanks for that clarification. And I believe there's no other business. Therefore, I declare the meeting closed at 8 o'clock. 8 p.m. Thank you.
Did I get a day off?